Are we watching the franchise allow this coach, who many people have concluded has no idea what he's doing on this level, to stunt the growth at minimum of a generational prospect?
He sat his coaches down and had them defend their resumes because he's a winner and they're losers.
So right now, I'm saying on record, Urban Meyer will be fired at the end of the year.
He definitely needs to be going. He cannot be back as the head coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars for next season.
The Jacksonville Duval Jaguars are dead.
Urban Meyer has to be one of the worst head coaches ever. The Jaguars are horrendous.
You suck!
Jacksonville is 2-11. Rookie quarterback Trevor Lawrence looks like crap, and Urban Meyer has stirred up more drama in one season than Taylor Swift.
I knew you were trouble when you walked in.
Meyer has publicly stated that he didn't get the player he wanted at the NFL draft, signed Tim Tebow to play tight end, got fined for breaking the CBA practice rules, has reportedly had a bad temper with players, already been rumored to leave multiple times, had a video go viral of him at a bar with a much younger woman despite being married. His players have no respect for him. He had a screaming match with wide receiver Marvin Jones, and he's reportedly called his assistant coaches losers. It's only been 14 weeks. Urban Meyer has been a nightmare in the NFL. But if you want more videos like this, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. It's not like Jacksonville was a flourishing franchise before Urban Meyer got there, but it is safe to say that it hasn't gotten any better. Let's take a step back and examine the struggling Jaguars. There are plenty of trust issues, mainly surrounding the head coach, and it's a completely dysfunctional environment, again, because of the head coach. And of course, there's a lot of selfishness, again, stemming from the head coach. All three of those are present in Jacksonville, and those are the three criteria to examine for struggling teams, according to Urban Meyer. Yes, that was actually a real graphic during his time at Fox Sports, and it's safe to say that that didn't age very well. There have been plenty of ridiculous moments in the Meyer era, but this past weekend was just a little bit of an extra cherry on top. It ended with one of the most depressing handshakes I've ever seen after the Jaguars got toppled by the Titans. Not only was that a miserable interaction between head coaches, that wasn't just some guy. It was Mike Rabel, who worked for Meyer at Ohio State. Of course, that wasn't the biggest mess that Meyer was involved in over the weekend. A report came out that Meyer called his assistant coaches losers. He apparently challenged them to defend each of their resumes individually. He told them they were all losers and that he was a winner. But don't worry, Urban Meyer hasn't just pissed off his coaches. He's pissed off his players too. James Robinson fumbled against the Rams and got benched until Trevor Lawrence confronted Meyer about his benching. Several Jaguars players after the game vented to Rams players and said that Meyer didn't treat his players like adults, which I do actually think makes a little sense. Meyer spent a long time in college, and while a lot of those guys are legally adults, they were still kids. Meyer also managed to have a heated argument with Marvin Jones after he got mad with Meyer's criticism of the wide receivers. It got so bad that Jones left the facility, but he was convinced to return only to argue with Meyer. That, surprisingly, hasn't been the craziest Urban Meyer story from the regular season. After barely losing to the Bengals in Week 4, Meyer decided to not fly back with the team, a wildly rare occurrence in the NFL. Well, he decided that he wanted to stay back and spend time with his grandkids. Adorable, I know. Anyway, he was found at a bar groping a college-aged woman. After the backlash, Meyer decided to cancel the team meeting on Monday and decided to instead just talk to each position group individually and claim that the girl was just dancing in front of him.
Man, this is some bullshit! Boo this man!
I mean, come on, I think Stevie Wonder might have been able to tell you what was going on there. This season has been an absolute disaster for Urban Meyer, and really, it's been doomed from the start. James Robinson was literally one of the best running backs in football last season. So, what did Meyer decide to do? Draft a running back, Travis Etienne, in the first round.
stupid.
For starters, you shouldn't be drafting a running back high at all, especially in the first round. But you really shouldn't be drafting a running back if you already had one of the best in the league. To make matters worse, Meyer said that he didn't want Etienne. Meyer wanted Giants wide receiver Kadarius Toney, who got selected right before Etienne. He followed up his expert roster moves by signing Tim Tebow to play tight end, which crashed and burned faster than Nick Saban's NFL coaching career. Plus, Urban Meyer hired his longtime friend Chris Doyle, who ended up resigning because he left Iowa due to claims of racism towards his athletes. Not exactly a home run hire, but it's hard to think that Meyer wouldn't overlook questionable decisions to win football games. Luckily, nobody is better at causing chaos and running into the sunset, quite like Urban Meyer. At Florida, he had one of the most toxic locker rooms in sports history. But it didn't matter. The Gators won 2 national championships. It didn't matter that 41 players got arrested. It didn't matter that the roster featured players who had been arrested for credit card fraud, DUIs, battery, burglary, larceny, obstruction of justice, sexual assaults, bar fights, stolen computers, and one incident wherein a player was involved with 2 people getting shot in the head. Yeah, that was Aaron Hernandez. So, Meyer was the king of toxic culture, and after the mess came crashing in, he always dipped. He decided to retire due to health reasons, but those reasons, I guess, went away when he was hired at Ohio State less than a year later. He went on to win another national championship and build another great toxic culture that had players who were arrested for bar fights, drug charges, domestic battery, assault, and obstruction of justice.
I believe I can fly.
But those weren't the defining moments from his tenure. That was wide receivers coach Zach Smith. Meyer reportedly lied about knowing that he was beating his wife, and ultimately, Meyer was suspended for not upholding the values of Ohio State. That 2018 season was filled with a ton of controversy, and in typical fashion, he announced his retirement. You guessed it, for health issues. Everything is a complete disaster in Jacksonville, but there's one good side to that, and that is that all the media attention is on Urban Meyer, not how shitty Trevor Lawrence has been playing. In his last 196 passes, Lawrence has thrown a single touchdown, the same amount as Brian Hoyer since week 9. Brian Hoyer has thrown 3 passes. Look, every rookie quarterback is going to be bad and have their struggles. And yeah, Mac Jones, I know, he got put in a perfect situation. Relax.
Shut the fuck up, bitch.
Most rookie quarterbacks are going to struggle, especially if you were number 1 overall. There's a reason why the Jaguars had the number 1 pick. They suck. These are going to be bad times, but the big issue is that Lawrence hasn't even been good in garbage time when opposing defenses are playing prevent. He isn't making good decisions, and he hasn't shown a lot of flashes. It doesn't matter how good the quarterback is. You need a supporting cast. Gardner Minshew was traded away in the offseason by Meyer, one of the few decisions that was actually pretty solid, although he did plan on making them compete for a job and undermining his rookie. But hey, he did come to his senses. At least I think he did. Minshew got criticized for not being good enough despite a pretty good start to his career, but he only won 6 games in 2 years. He had no talent around him and a ton of poor coaching. In his first game starting for the Eagles, a team whose talent sucks but is still 10 times better than the Jags, he completed 75% of his passes for nearly 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, and didn't turn the ball over. That's what happens when you play with a team that actually has talent, or you play the Jets. I didn't have any faith in Urban Meyer really being able to translate over to the NFL. I was pretty vocally against the hire and thought it was going to be a bad decision, but damn, I didn't think it was going to be this bad. Jacksonville needs to fire him pronto. It's hard to know the irreversible damage Meyer has caused Trevor Lawrence's development. Lawrence can figure it out and prevail. He's a damn good player and he's going to be able to rebound, but it's going to be really hard to do under Meyer. That locker room sounds awful, and Lawrence has quite possibly been put in the worst spot for a rookie quarterback this century. Well, except for David Carr. David Carr was screwed from the jump. The Urban Meyer era in Jacksonville has been a complete disaster, and it's time for the Jaguars to move on. He's made the franchise look like a laughingstock, made them even worse than they were before, and who knows how much damage he's already caused their future franchise quarterback. By all accounts, Meyer's time has been a complete nightmare. Broncos head coach Vic Fangio said the other day that Meyer told him that coaching in the NFL was like playing Alabama every single week. Well, Urban Meyer isn't just playing Alabama anymore, but hey, maybe they can give him an offensive coordinator role or something next year once he gets fired. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. If you want even more content, follow us for more on TikTok, Instagram, or Twitter.